What is going on, guys? My name is Arrow, and today I'm bringing you 7 things that GGG should delete in 3.18 Sentinel. Guys, if you like my content, go down and click that like button. It only takes a second. Also, I'm on my way to 1,000 subs, so if you want to see more of my content, drop me a sub. Thank you. Number 7, Torment. This one feels so obvious. Torment ghosts can be complete morons, floating around bumping into stuff, or sometimes it's the explodey one, and you kill some white mobs, and then you get one shot by the ground. It's essentially impossible to tell them apart. More importantly, it's impossible to get them to do what they're supposed to do, climb inside a rare or unique. There's absolutely nothing interesting about this mechanic. It's time for GGG to delete it. Number 6, Map Reflect. I actually really like the way Reflect mobs currently work in the game. They're very obvious, they fire a slow-moving, dodgeable projectile. It's intuitive and interesting, and it's good for gameplay. But Reflect as a map affix is a boring toggle switch. You either can do it or you can't. There's nothing interesting about having to roll over a map affix on nearly every character. I say the map affix could be map is infested with reflecting rares, and just put lots of rares in the map that have that Reflect mod. But the affix? It's time for GGG to delete it. Number 5, Pokemon League. Beasts are entirely uninteresting. You randomly run into them, they give you almost no indication of what they're for, and then you have to stand next to them for 7 seconds while that guy throws a net at them. And then once a month you go to your menagerie and find out that you have 19 of the least interesting crafts of all time stored up. Congrats on your 5 transmutes, 10 jewelers, and that shock immunity mana flask. The few meaningful crafts from beasts should just be turned into currencies like split beasts, etc. And then GGG should delete it. Number 4, stun and block recovery affixes. I don't have a problem with rolling unhelpful mods on gear, that's part of crafting. But shouldn't every mod in the game have some use? My issue is that stun and block recovery is a dead mod on every imaginable build in the game. It's not interesting, GGG. I'd rather have another tier of mana regen. Just delete it. Number 3, Beyond. This is a hard one for me to say because I love Beyond. I love Double Beyond. I love Triple Beyond. However, every single new piece of mapping content that gets added to the game has to be balanced around the existence of Beyond. The nature of Beyond is that the more stuff you add, the more Beyond you get. With Legion, you get 1 Legion. Breach, you get a Breach. With Expedition, you guessed it, 1 Expedition. Beyond, however, is not an additive type of content. I think that this prevents GGG from designing new, interesting endgame mapping content that may work in a similar way. We've had Beyond for 8 years. I think it's time to move on. With a very, very heavy heart, I'll say, delete it, Greg. Number 2, Light Radius. Why is this a stat? It's cool that when your health drops, so does your light radius, providing a full screen indicator that you're about to click Resurrect in town by accident. However, it's not a stat that anyone cares about or interacts with in any meaningful way. Should being able to see your screen be a stat I have to get on my armor? You don't have to get volume on your wand to hear game sound, so there's no reason to make light radius a thing in this game. Come on, Greg, delete this. Before we get to the top thing that I want to see trashed in 3.18, I just want to remind everyone that I stream exclusively on Twitch now. So head over to twitch.tv/AER0__ and give me a follow. The link is in the description. Alright, and the number 1 thing that I want to see removed from the game in 3.18, Harvest. I know, I'm going to get yelled at for this one, but hear me out. Harvest in its initial implementation was interesting, but way too strong. Now Harvest isn't overpowered, but it feels like a chore. The truly good crafts are so rare that you will likely never see them. And I can only store 10 crafts? And don't get me started with Oshabi giving you an extra 5. I've leveled 10 characters to 100 since the last time she showed up. On top of that, it's incredibly rippy content. There are some interesting things that Harvest does, like resistance swaps on gear, socket color swaps, etc., that aren't too overpowered, but those aren't worth holding on to because we don't have space. It just ends up being a mechanic that forces you to use TFT to get what you need, or likely just ignore it. Either give us space to hold more crafts, or GGG, delete it. Alright, that was the 7 things that I think GGG should delete in Sentinel. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments, but be nice to each other down there. Thank you all for watching, liking, subscribing. I really appreciate it. And as always, take care.